Welcome everybody to this session. My name is Lorenzo Veronesi and I'm a research manager for IDC manufacturing sites. So we specifically look at the manufacturing industries and other industrial sector that share similar processes. And our research is really focused on understanding how technology can help companies in this industry to thrive in this day and age. So in this presentation, I'm gonna show you a very, very high level overview of the main research finding that we collected over the previous 6 months since this big transformation that affected us all has happened. And I'm gonna explain really how technology can help companies in improving their performance in this period. So let's start. First of all, we need to understand the situation and how it really looks like and what happened and what company can do. So in this slide, in the next slide, we see a very interesting image that I think reflects very well the nature of the problem that we're facing. Business as usual was already terribly difficult for a product industry, for a product company, for a transportation company, a logistic company. It was already very difficult before this pandemic. It was really difficult. There were a lot of big problems to solve. The evolution in the digital value proposition, the need to provide sustainable products and services, the transformation of the global consumer demands and demographic. All these problems are still there. This big crisis that we all seen has swallowed sort of the business as usual and put us in a bubble of where everything is discussed in this problem. But unfortunately, problems don't crowd out each other. the problems are still there, and we see an age of continued disruption in front of us. And even when we solve this crisis, we go out from this crisis, we will see another series of problems. So my take on that is to use the skills and the capabilities that are needed to thrive in this period, in this year, in the next year, to prepare the organization, mostly from the IT point of view, to thrive in a context of increased disruption that is going to be there for many, many, many years, and we call it next normal. So in the next slide, there's a sort of more careful description of this mechanism, of this process. So we saw until this summer, we saw a number of initiatives being carried through by companies to really respond to the needs of the pandemic. This sort of response-focused initiatives will still be valid over the next year, but will gradually be also overtaken by another series of initiatives that are really aimed at buffering the economic recession that is looming. We all see a double-digit recession coming in Europe and pretty much everywhere in the world. So that's a very big challenge for most of companies, and this is going to be from this period to probably next year the main source of troubles. While the pandemic will still be around, but will be sort of will add to the pandemic needs. And on top of that, company will have to put together long-lasting behaviors that are really needed to survive in a time where disruption happens continuously. So what are the initiatives company put together? This is an example of some of our research where we collected the initiatives that we kind of mapped across the area, so different areas. So first of all, the response need will be, for example, work from home, enable an enterprise communication collaboration platform that allows a company to manage human resources and employees in a dispersed way, but of course increasing the productivity of the work. And also making sure the plans are in place for business continuity. There are a lot of disruption happening. Company needed to make sure the suppliers could deliver. So again, this calls for greater collaboration, greater integration among the value chains. now companies really need to add some new initiatives, for example, focusing on customer engagement, digital customer engagement models, and improving their financial management to make sure they are able to cope with the disruption and really stay literally alive financially. And then there's another series of long-lasting behaviors that is very important, that are around the product supply chain processes, resiliency and diversification, but also the need to collaborate across an ecosystem, transform the value chain into a more collaborative processes. But all in all, the big area here that really it's always present from this March, and will always be present in the next year or so, is operations. So make sure companies can set up digitally enabled processes that are real-time basis, that are centrally managed, but also very agile and flexible. So that's a big challenge ahead. So the next slide, there is really a very quick image to show how companies are taking this challenge. Of course, they all suffer a tremendous amount of financial damage. You see on the left-hand side, but when we ask what is the target for your technology investments, the majority of companies says we want to take advantage of our competitors' weakness and capture market share. Very bold move, very bold attitude. Companies are willing to play their game, play their battle, and I think this is very, very encouraging. So what is really the nature of the transformation from the technological point of view? We can move to the next section now. This section is really about why technology matters. So in the next slide, there is a very important point to consider. We talk about the transformation, the need to transform, the need to enable new initiatives, and the fact that companies are very aggressive in doing that. But this is really entails a complete transformation of the business processes. So we can animate this element one by one. There are 6 in totals that I can describe you. So the first of them is to make sure company can ensure operational continuity, including process extraction. You see the picture here. A factory is a different place now. A warehouse is a different place now. An office is a different place now. And company need to make sure they rearrange the process to ensure the continuity, to ensure there are no interruption due to poor supplier performance, due to poor and they also need to ensure they can handle the eventual lockdowns that may arise. So the second element of that is the ability to enable an integrated fulfillment network. So you have business continuity, but you also have to ensure this continuity happens across all the steps. For example, a company and we saw a lot of investment now happening, company trying to connect the factory network to the broader supply chain network to make sure they can fulfill the customer orders. So this also is very important, because on this third point, there is a new element that is coming very, very strongly in this crisis, is trust. You need to gain trust in your value chain. You need your customer to trust that you're delivering, and you need to be able to build a trust-based relationship with your suppliers. So that's really, really central here. So there's another point after that really talks about how you build trust. And this is really making sure you become more agile in terms of disruption. And this is really calls for a strong transformation in focus from a sort of just-in-time attitude where you really plan something and execute it, to something more just-in-case attitude, where you're able to react to the transformation very, very promptly. So the fifth and sixth point can be seen together really, and the idea is that companies need to be able to accelerate their time to value, to reap the opportunities, and to do so, they need to maximize their employee productivity, because at the end, employees are more costly now. They having people in the office, in a factory, in a warehouse, in any workplace entails a higher cost really. So a company need to make sure employee can do more with less. And this is really giving them the information they need so that they can take more and better decisions. So in the next slide, we see why this information sharing is very important, because it makes a difference. You see company are digital enabled companies are constantly outperforming their non-digital peers, both from the revenue and the profit margin. You see here in this panel chart that we have been tracking since 2013, and the idea here is that technology make a difference. But what will be the 2020 result be? Probably both lines will go very low for all the different groups. But we still expect the digital company to be much better off than the non-digital one, because everything that made digital companies successful has been amplified by this crisis. So digital companies are better at exploiting the business opportunities, and are more effective in delivering value proposition, and overall can run the business in a better way. So this crisis will just amplify this effect, and company realize that. So if you see on the next right-hand side chart, when we ask company, are you interested in investing in technology? Only 6% say no, we're not investing in technology. Actually, 70% company have a technology roadmap. And interesting enough, there's a sort of split between company that want to invest in technology to close their gap, and company to want to invest in technology to really disrupt their market. So we see that companies are, depending on their situation, are really eager to invest in technology. So in the next slide, we can talk about the road ahead. So what's left for company to put together? How can company what are the initiatives, the technology initiative company need to put together? So in the next slide, there's a very interesting element here. First of all, IT has taken a lot of importance in the organization. You see, we ask company which function is gaining relevance at executive level because of the crisis, and technology and IT is skyrocketing the importance. This means that it confirms the fact that the technology is important to run the business, becomes a mission critical asset for any successful companies, but also really brings IT on the spot, bring the technology department on the spot, and the need to evolve. Because in fact, when we ask company what are the sort of the innovation or the new capabilities, new skills your IT organization is putting together, you see like enterprise application, user experience, enterprise architecture, all these traditional IT jobs are sort of lower in importance. What really matters today is to be able to innovate the way IT work with digital innovation, cybersecurity, data analytics. We talk about process automation, the ability to simplify and automate all the processes underlying the IT function. This is essential because, of course, IT department has a much greater responsibility now, but they cannot scale their people as easily. So, of course, the essential point here is to do more with less, to be more efficient in the way they deliver their IT, the IT value proposition, the IT project. So on the next slide, there is a sort of a quick reflection on how companies are looking at IT and how they're gonna procure their IT from the different vendors. There are two philosophies. One, you see the pink middle bar. Companies are very pragmatic and look at proven technologies that deliver quick ROI for the business. So long-term projects, long-term planning, long-run enterprise projects are going to suffer a little bit in this context. But every project that can deliver quick value is essential. In fact, you see on the right-hand side, when you see what sort of the purchase driver for your technology, implementation speed and shorter ROI are really a major differentiation and sought after criteria. And we see that the company were literally talking this like previous week that said that ROI is really the largest focus at the moment. But there's also another family of companies. See the top two bars and go back to the left-hand side chart. We say we aggressively seek out technology, even if that entails some way of a risk, even if it doesn't work. This means that also companies are really willing to transform, are bold in their initiatives, and don't really afraid of making mistakes, because they realize that the revenue and the gains they can get out of that is really, really high. And the last bit, very, very, very rapidly, is that this also a problem that doesn't involve one single company, but involves many, many companies. So we can go to the next slide. We see for the first time really happening that companies start collaborating with industries and companies outside their core market. So if we can move to the next slide, we see that when we ask companies, for example, I'm particularly focused on the right-hand side of this chart, where you can get the biggest opportunity for your business. You see more than half of companies say it's within a collaboration effort with the suppliers or the customer. And even another big chunk of companies say it's a collaboration with our business partners. For example, if you're a manufacturing company, the logistic providers. So really the value is outside. The company is in the collaboration, in the transformation of the ecosystem, in the capability of company to coordinate all the processes together in creating new value chains. So this is sort of a Copernican revolution that is being happening during this crisis. So on my very last slide, the next slide, I'm gonna just provide you with some key takeaways. So the investments are resilient, but companies are aiming at achieving clear returns on their investment, and the industry is really opening to open to a new ecosystem approach. The target really is having 2 years of digital transformation in few months. This is a problem that companies are facing now, and it's really a bold plan. But we see many companies we're talking with agree with this vision, and we believe this is really essential. And with that, I thank you, and this concludes my presentation.
Hi everyone, my name is Tiago Monteiro, and I'm here today to talk about the future of operations, rebuilding in the wake of crisis and future uncertainty. COVID-19 has led many organizations across the world to adapt fast their processes and organizations and continue to innovate while streamlining to save costs and keep serving their customer needs regardless of the circumstances. There's an immediate need to adapt fast, to build resilient remote operations, accelerate with scale with intelligence and ease, and automate legacy tasks, apart from other challenges that have to be tackled in a very short period of time. We believe that embracing low technology is a solution, without jeopardizing security and leveraging pre-existing solutions in order to harness higher levels of agility and savings, both in time and money. Digital transformation is more urgent than ever. We have seen in the last few months how keen business leaders and industries across the world want to tackle this opportunity with a high sense of urgency. Unfortunately, COVID-19 has been an important driver in all this, bringing a lot of challenges both for IT and business, namely by increasing the levels of agility to tackle disruptions in the supply chain or to cope with potential new regulatory requirements, harness new business models to grab new opportunities, or even to face new competitors with new technologies or leaner operations, automate, digitalize, and deploy faster, overcome potential resources constraints, and also develop strong, resilient back offices and middle office operations within the frameworks needed for health and security, as well as cost reduction objectives that are required for the times that we are living in. Moving forward, we believe that many organizations will have to invest in digital capabilities and technologies in order to enhance their resilience and thrive in the face of change. There are many studies that shows that investing in digital resilience levers is an opportunity to reduce costs between 15 and 25%, given the fastest speed to market, high workforce productivity, and also more stable operations by achieving better SLAs and also reducing potential IT errors or potential deviations in large transformation projects. But the question is, how can organizations, in fact, change and rebuild their operations or turn them more resilient? We believe there are 6 important dimensions to tackle. The first one is accelerate data and digital platforms. Increase modularity and availability of core IT infrastructure and applications across the organization. Second, by enhancing cybersecurity, safeguarding digital assets and react more quickly potential security breaches, considering the high distributed environments that exist today in the organizations. Third, strengthens your financial by ensuring strong financial liquidity, by leveraging or reducing, the total cost of ownership, by swapping CapEx with OpEx, and having data models that can minimize cash requirements and working capital. Protect and grow your top line by taking advantage of niche opportunities and taking advantage, of course, of data-driven marketing, sales effectiveness, and dynamic pricing. And finally, the last 2, which I believe are quite relevant for the topic today. In one hand, develop agile operations, which is a capacity to react more quickly to potential disruptions in your procurement, logistics, supply chain, customer ops, or even corporate functions. And finally, I would say enable people. Empower employees to be more productive, collaborate more effectively, and stay tuned in all circumstances, apart from other techniques in terms of product development and talent management. So for us, we believe that agility, talent scaling, and faster decision-making are in fact key levers to ensure more resilient operations across the organization. In one hand, by leveraging low-code platform, by building custom solutions and streamline workflows and processes and automate legacy tasks. By second, by leveraging existing capacity in the organization, by empowering those that are closer to the operations problems and have the chance to solve them with solution-driven apps. And third, make tools available, leverage insights and information across silos, and frame them in a much more effective and decision-making process across the organization. Now, one code or low-code technology as one low-code, one connected platform is an important alternative to increase business agility. In one hand, develop low-code platforms through a visual approach can reduce both time as well as effort and derive more value from data. It also can lower the technical barriers to solve business challenges with technology and bridge the gap between IT, product development, and business owners through a much more collaborative approach for solving problems. Embracing low-code could be as easy as leveraging the experience from your human capital and using productivity and collaborative tools. The example that I brought here is a short simulation of one functionality in the Power development, in an applications development process in our Power Apps platform. And as you can see, it has a very friendly user interface environment, using model-driven design, drag-and-drop approaches with pre-script coding and access to libraries as well as templates to develop applications. Apart from connectors to access relevant information, both from operating systems as well as other relevant solutions like Oracle, SAP, and Salesforce. Another example that I have here, just to show how practical this is, it's Microsoft Return to the Workplace solution. It's meant to manage and maximize the return of the workers to their workplace. It's a turnkey solution aligned with business continuity to safely open workplaces and facilities and protect the health of employees as well as customers. It's available across the globe, different location typologies, as well as personas. And today, we have already 4 functionalities available from location readiness, employee health and safety management, work care management, and location management. And all this was done by our health and safety team back in Redmond. Another example that I want to highlight is the rise of the citizen developers as an opportunity to unlock value adds from harnessing talent and existing capacity in the organizations by developing solutions to tackle day-to-day problems. From frontline workers to IT developers, embracing low-code could be an opportunity to elevate the capacity for those that have less technical skills to be much more effective and try to find better solutions, especially for those that know them better and across the organization. It's also an opportunity to save time as well as money, as you mentioned, given the upfront or limited upfront investment, both in terms of skilling as well as acquisition and maintenance. It's also important to bear in mind that this should not jeopardize guidelines in terms of security and compliance, that IT must be involved and under control, and this wave of transformation cannot jeopardize the effort to eliminate shadow IT. One interesting example that I brought here is from Toyota. They are empowering the employees to tackle their own app development requests. They are today more than 400 applications developed under this motto. And there are true believers that what these employees lack in terms of specialized technical skills, it can be overcome with their real-life experience in their teams, departments, and day-to-day life. Another interesting example is from Telstra, largest Australian telecommunications operator. They are using low-code to modernize and streamline workflows for more than 5,000 field tech workers, people that are responsible to manage the networks, manage incidents both in the backbone and local access. And there was a huge opportunity there to structure and formalize knowledge between the teams, leverage coaching, and bring up forward information to be much more efficient in managing resolution and incidents, as well as planning and dispatching tasks. Telstra used our Power Platform tools in order to develop boss assists, digitalize processes, and make it available easy KPIs through easy dashboards, both for team leads as well as from frontline workers. The impact has been huge, more than $12 million in cost savings and significant improvements in their client service complaints in more than 60%. Finally, faster decision making by leveraging real-time analytics and AI. It has been more easy every day to develop, train, and publish AI models without writing any sort of single line of code, using templates, guided processes, or pre-built components into apps. Leverage built-in connectors to external cloud services to access files and databases, as well as on-prem sources. It's important to ensure also a common data platform or common data service across the organization, as well existing low technology platforms. And finally, built-in intelligence into processes in order to get actionable insights and perform tasks in real time. Low-code AI for apps, if you will, can be both intuitive as well as productive. In one hand, you can develop very small tasks by using AI models from object detection, prediction, form classification, and all these through a very simple single interface. And productivity games by leveraging existing or predefined AI scenarios like key phrase and language detection, sentiment analysis, and text and object recognition. The example that I brought in here is from JJ Pepsi. This is one of the largest PepsiCo's bottling franchises in the US. They are using tools like AI Builder to create object detection capabilities to streamline processes and minimize errors. In their in-store audit app, they allow their employees to take pictures of merchandise displays and products and leave the object detection capabilities to do the rest, like physical counting, alarms displays, and inventory check-ins. You can imagine how beneficial this can be for those that are on the field. So, one connected low-code platform, integrated with external and internal services, with a common data settings and with pre-built intelligent models, underpinned by collaborative tools, can be an effective approach to adapt and build resilient operations. There is proven high return in terms of investment and productivity gains, given the wide spread benefits that it can lead to different areas of organization. Positive benefits also in your innovation process, as well as speed. And for us, Microsoft, Power Platform is our value proposition to embrace low-code technologies in our clients. From app development, business insights, workflow automate, and virtual agents. All these fully powered by the integration with our productivity and collaboration tools and CRM, as well as, standalone applications and solutions. I'll leave you these last 2 minutes with Microsoft's vision about low-code technology in the future of operations, and specifically in the return to the workplace scenario. Thank you very much.
Returning to the workplace during a pandemic. It's a scenario very few of us have faced, until now. The Microsoft Power Platform empowers safe reopening with the Return to the Workplace solution. Supported by Power Apps, Power BI, and Power Automate, this low-code solution is designed for everyone. Location readiness allows leaders and task forces to quickly make informed decisions using criteria like infection rates and supplies availability. Employee health and safety management empower employees to check in remotely and self-screen before entering. Workplace care management provides health and safety leaders tools to identify potential infections, manage cases to ensure care and quarantine, and notify exposed individuals. And location management helps facility managers monitor occupancy, health supplies, safety procedures, and other facility-related best practices. We all want to get back to work and back together safely. Learn how Power Platform can help you return to the workplace with confidence.